Why you using scripture to justify getting high? You say it's okay cause Christ turned water into wine. You say it's okay cause it comes from the earth. But in Genesis, the Most High said the ground would be cursed. So everything that grow from it isn't good, you know. The Most High said the herbs were from meat, he ain't say to smoke. And if that's the case, why don't you smoke oregano? Let me take a stab at it, cause I bet you I know. Cause your intention's not to get healed but get high. Cause plenty of herbs heal, why choose that one? Tell me why. These gateway drugs is gateways to evil spirits. Look up the Voyage manuscript. Marijuana's in it, it's for witches and for wizards. The tree in the garden was for good and evil, cause at first it's good, but that evil will leave you feeble. The Most High ain't plant that tree, it was Satan. 3rd Baruch chapter 4 verse 8 is what I'm saying. The Most High will never tempt anyone to evil. That's James 1 and 13. Let the scriptures teach you. Look, if you wanna smoke, that's between you and the Father, but trying to justify it with scripture, don't even bother.
All right. So it wasn't because of the Bible you began to smoke weed, right?
That's true.
So why are now people using the Bible to excuse it? Why don't you just say you like smoking weed? Why bring the Bible in?
That's true also.
Yeah, why even bring the Bible into it? You have to decipher and be truthful and honest with yourself when you're doing something for you. And be careful not to bring the Bible into it, because why? You can cause someone else to fall and believe that God wanted him to smoke weed.
1:29.
Read it.
And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree.
Okay, stop right there, because I'm breaking you down now. We're breaking it down.
Yes,
I need you now to roll off the names for some of the herbs in the earth. Give it to me.
Like basil.
Basil.
Parsley.
Parsley. Come on.
Lavender.
Lavender. Okay. Oregano.
Yes,
okay. Okay. All right. So he gave us now. What do all of these herbs you've just mentioned have in common?
We use them for seasonings.
In our foods and all that? Okay. Now, do you smoke oregano?
I never have, brother.
Why not?
Why? I see where you going, brother.
Now I'm gonna look in the Hebrew H402. It's the feminine, and it says what? You know what it says, brother? Food.
No, sir.
It says food. Akala.
Oh.
Akala. Food. Food.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
So it was good for food, pleasant to the eyes.
And a tree desired to make one wise.
To make one wise. And that's linking into what most out there call the pineal gland. What they call the opening their third eye. Is to make one wise. So she saw that it was good for meat, but not only was it good for consumption, it did something to the psyche. Read.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband.
And then she gave it to Adam. Read.
With her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open.
And the eyes of them both were open. See? Now there's a variation. There's a difference between the Most High's herb and the satanic herb that links you to the spirit world. Right? Now, let me show you what the fallen angels showed mankind. You're going to find out that the Israelites, those that were separated from the Gentiles, had an entirely different way of dealing with healing opposed to the Gentiles, the other nations. Usually the other nations get their information. Usually they receive their information from fallen angels and demons. Some to help people, but for a price. And that's why the majority of the drugs you have out there have side effects. The Most High herbs, there is no side effects. So there are side effects, there's a cost. They'll heal one thing, but at the expense of what? Death. Shortening your life. Adam and Eve, they took of this tree. It did everything prescribed for it. But it did what? It cut their lifespan. It ended up taking them to their grave. Well, all right. I'm going to show you what was taught to mankind, even after Adam and Eve.
This is the book of Enoch, chapter 7, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms.
Read.
And enchantments.
Enchantments.
And the cutting of roots. And made them acquainted with plants.
And made them acquainted with what?
With plants.
Now, did mankind know about plants before the fallen angels came to the earth? Absolutely. So what is this acquaintance with plants being taught by fallen angels outside of man's relation to plants before the fallen angels? What's the difference? We're going to show you. Called the Voynich manuscript. Right? Now on your screen is the Voynich manuscript, and as you can see on page 1, the Yale University have this book and own this book. All right? This particular book is controlled by the Bush family, the Skull and Bones, and it's in the Yale University. They found an original transcript of this particular book in Latin and one in French, and they translated it into English, and they brought it over into the Americas under the Bush's family. Now, in this book, remember earlier when I went into the fallen angels technology about the plants? In this particular book, there's a list of plants. Now, look how old this book is. Look at the pages on this book. They had to handle this book with much care because it's an ancient demonic book, where the fallen angels showed all the elite powers of the earth how to control the population with certain plants. Look at it, a list of them. See? Look, I need you to see it. And the demons told them, if you can get the population on these particular drugs, on these plants, then you can control a population and have them do your bid or will. Here you go. See? Oh, you thought it was just by chance that the whole world is on drugs. See? Look, here's all the drugs and they have it written how to use and what they do to each person's psyche, and how the elite can take another herb to have power over them who's taking a lower herb. See? On and on and on and on. So for those who think that the Most High made all herbs and they're good for you to deal with just because they're coming out of the ground, you have been deceived. Every plant that you see here in this particular book, and I'm going on and on and on to show you, I'm sharing my screen. These were plants given to mankind by the fallen angels so that they can control the population and separate families and do all types of things to control families, to control populations. There you go. Now, this book goes on and on and on. There's many plants, and you will never guess. I said I didn't want to point out any plants, but you know the marijuana plant is part of this too.